thought this was enormously funny. I don't sing very well, to put it politely. When I sing in the shower, the water goes off. So we had this little ritual, John and I did, where we would send tape recordings back and forth to each other. We called them mind movies, where he would sit and put together a little collage of tape material, mail it to me, and I would create something and mail it back to him. My birthday is February 16th. Yoko's birthday is February 18th. So around birthday time, I would record myself singing either one of Yoko's favorite songs. Her favorite song, by the way, is The Way We Were. And occasionally I would record The Way We Were, or Happy Birthday, or As Time Goes By. I would send the recording to John. He would take the recording, hide it in a little Sony cassette recorder, wait until the evening was over. The two of them would be in bed together, and he would remove the tape recorder from under a pillow and push play, and through the speakers, Yoko would hear me singing As Time Goes By. John would simultaneously have an open mic in the bedroom to hear Yoko's reaction to this, which she would send back to me. And you would hear her at first moaning, then giggling and saying, "Please turn that off. He can't sing. What do you do?" And we did that for years and years and years and years. I thought it was very, very amusing. So did John. You'd have to ask her. She thinks it's funny. I would come into New York for almost every Christmas or every New Year's for 10 years. I would always stay at the Plaza Hotel. They would come and meet me in the morning. We would have split pea soup in the Edwardian room and watch the snow fall outside. It was all part of the vibe, and The Way We Were captured that moment to some degree.
Yoko's a great host. Tell me about Christmas with the Ono Lennons.
Christmas with John and Yoko was always an experience. Always an experience. Keep in mind, these were two people who were not big in terms of mass entertaining. During the years that I knew them, and I met them in 71, John left us in 1980, I don't recall more than one or two parties at the Dakota, and they were usually for Sean, because Sean and John share the same birth date. But just an evening with John and Yoko during Christmas, well, let me reminisce for a moment, if I may, about the most touching, the most poignant, and the most beautiful. In the Dakota building, they had an apartment. And in the apartment was an empty room that John decided to turn into the Club Dakota, a very private membership club with only 3 members that had an old Wurlitzer jukebox in it and weird things that we found. And we invited Yoko one evening. It was a men's-only club, which meant that Yoko immediately had to integrate it by way of gender. And we sent her an invitation. She appeared on New Year's Eve, dressed in a beautiful black dress. She showed up at the door. We invited her in. Elton John had sent over an electric piano. And John had put records in the Wurlitzer, old 78 RPM records that we went to second-hand stores to find. We bought pink flamingos and, the kinds of things that looked right for us. We wore a black tie and long tuxedo jackets. John wore his school tie, actually. And Yoko came in. We sat around. We talked for 10 minutes or so. Neither of them drank, so there wasn't much to do. He played a couple of his favorite songs in the Wurlitzer and asked Yoko to dance, and the two of them stood up at around midnight and danced. I had a Polaroid camera and snapped a couple of photographs of them doing it with the snow falling through the windows over Central Park. It was one of the most romantic moments that I ever observed between the two of them, and that's how we spent one of those New Year's Eves together. And by the way, on another New Year's or another Christmas, I believe, Paul and Linda McCartney showed up. I had arrived at the Dakota, and it was just John, Yoko, and myself. Paul and Linda arrived. They hadn't seen each other in a while. We had gone out to Elaine's, a restaurant in Manhattan, for something to eat. Didn't see anything on the menu we liked, so Linda said there was a great place down the block that had pizza. We sent out for the pizza, brought the pizza back, used some salt and pepper, had the pizza. That was our Christmas dinner. Went back to the Dakota. John got a branch of a tree, placed it in the living room as a Christmas tree. We talked for about 30 minutes or so, and then they left. So that's kind of the range of the parties.